welcome to StayFit TV. I'm your host, Lisa Marie. I'm excited today. First of all, we're excited because we're in our new studio, and also I'm excited because I have a special guest on the show today, and you're going to love him because he's very passionate about fitness, and he's here today to help you. None other than Pete Thomas of NBC, Most Successful, Biggest Loser. I'm excited to have him here today, so enjoy the show. You're going to learn some healthy ways to eat your food, the proper nutrition. You're also going to learn a few fitness tips on basic form when you're doing your exercise. So I hope you enjoyed the show, and Pete and I, we're going to get started on the healthy eating segment. So Pete, first of all, I just want to say thank you for coming to our show.
Yeah.
I know you're a very busy person all over the United States, especially doing corporate fitness.
Yes, ma'am.
You are an author.
Yeah.
You're a motivational speaker. Yeah. And you're doing so many different things to teach wellness and health in corporate offices. Also, you go to assisted living. You were just in Lansing last week at the assisted living meeting for that. Tell me a little bit about that.
You know, it's interesting. So it's been an amazing journey. And the thing that I enjoy the most about the journey is that now I'm able to give back. So I work with corporations, as you mentioned, all over the country. And what we do is we go in and we supplement their wellness programs. And so just about every major corporation in the country, of course, they know that there's a direct benefit to keeping their employees healthy or getting their employees healthy and keeping the health costs down, healthcare costs down. And so we go in and we provide consulting, we provide ideas for the companies to actually get their employees healthy. And so you mentioned I was in Lansing just a few days ago, Lansing, Michigan. Before that, I was in Indiana the week before that, and Pennsylvania the week before that. And what companies do is they bring me in and they say, Pete, we have a problem. We want to get our employees onto the wellness platform. We want them to be engaged. But Sally over in HR just isn't the motivator, you know what I mean?
Yes.
And so they bring me in to motivate people, to help them to get on the right track, to get involved, to get in the teams, to really keep a passion about their health. And so I have a unique way of doing that. Of course, it starts with my own story, but then we provide some takeaways for the companies that they can implement right there in their organization to get their employees healthy. And so it's a really amazing to see what different companies are doing around the country. There are a lot of companies who are on the cutting edge of this. They've been doing this for years. They understand that with all the changes in the healthcare laws and the changes with this and that and the other, that the best way to get the greatest productivity from their clients from their employees rather, is to make sure that they have options available for them to be healthy. And so we help support that.
That is excellent. I know a lot of times you get a lot of productivity out of an employee if they have exercise programs on site at their locations, and a lot of employers are offering that. Now, I just want to, before we get into the healthy food section, just tell the viewers a little bit about how you got started, what motivated you to start. It was like a dream come true for you to get on The Biggest Loser because you were at the brink of some health issues. So if you can tell us about that.
Absolutely. You know, at my largest, I was over 416 pounds. And at 416 pounds, you know, I had all types of health issues. I like to say I was on the verge of everything. So my blood pressure was 150/90. My resting heart rate was 89 beats a minute. I was diagnosed as diabetic, and I didn't even know I had diabetes. And when I went away to the Biggest Loser Ranch, they said, you have diabetes. If you were to go to your doctor today, he could subscribe or prescribe for you insulin. And so I had all of these issues. And now over the years, I had tried to lose weight. And I remember trying a program called Body for Life. And I tried Body for Life, and I lost weight and gained it back. And then there was a program called, well, I've done Weight Watchers, lost weight and gained it back. So I tried all of these different things and lost weight and gained it back. I can remember there's this program called the Way Down Workshop. The Way Down Workshop was a church program, and I lost weight and gained it back. I did so horrible in the church program that kicked me out of the church program. You know, I'm like, no, y'all did not. You know, but sure enough, because I just did not do the work, or it wouldn't stick, it wouldn't fit, there was something about it that didn't work long term. So for me, the next progression in my journey to losing weight, though this is one of the things that I say, never stop starting a weight loss or a wellness program. Never stop starting. Every day, if you have to get up and say, I'm going to start over again, that's what you need to do. And so when I applied for The Biggest Loser, that was just the next step in the journey. I knew that something was going to come along that was going to stick. And so I remember I tried for The Biggest Loser. So I sent in the application, actually sent in a video. They loved the video. They called me to come in to have an interview. So I went and had the interview, ended up making it on the show. And it was a great, great experience. lost 83 pounds in 62 days. They're on The Biggest Loser. And then lost another 102 pounds at home for 185 pounds total. Thank you. And then I've been, the most important thing is that I've been able to keep it off now for over 9 years. And along with that, I've been able to help others. So one of the things that I like to say is that my misery has really become my ministry, which is being able to help other people.
Yes, and you have a book, Lose It Fast and Lose It Forever.
Lose It Fast,
You
Lose
are
It
the
Forever.
author of that book.
Yeah.
And what are some of the principles in that book?
Yeah.
And as you talk about those principles, I'm sure a lot of food items that we have on this table, a lot of people think they have to starve themselves, that they can't eat certain foods.
Absolutely.
But in that book and today, you can give us a little bit of information about how to fuel your body with certain foods to still get the nutritional value. And you don't have to deprive yourself.
No, you don't.
Because if you deprive yourself, you know, like for instance, you said that if you bring food into your house, you'll go on these binges, if, you know, certain foods. So we don't want to deprive ourselves, but we still want to eat the certain foods so that we can get the nutritional value. So give us some information about the food here.
Yeah, well, I mentioned this, a couple of things from the book. So in the book, you know, I say that there are really 4 phases that you go through if you're going to be successful. And the first thing is your power. Your power to make any change really comes from the mind and the reasons behind the change that you're trying to make. And so what we'll do is we'll say something along the lines, you know, I want to lose weight because I want to fit into some dress. All right, that's neat. Or, and I'll pick on a lady, sometimes ladies say, well, you know, I want to lose weight because I've got a wedding coming up or I've got this event coming up. And I call that event-based weight loss. All right, so when you have event-based weight loss, you lose a certain amount of weight. The event comes, say you're going to get married, you want to fit into the beautiful dress. So you lose weight and you fit into the dress and your husband carries you over the threshold. But since that was your goal, to lose weight for the wedding, the day after the wedding, you start going back to the regular eating, and a month later, your husband has to drag you back across the threshold. You see what I'm saying? And so what I really do is I teach that you don't want to focus on event-based weight loss, but you need to have long-term weight loss goals. And so I even take it a little step further. I say weight loss is a dumb goal. In and of itself, weight loss is a dumb goal. You should not set a goal, I'm going to lose weight. This is what I like to say. I will achieve a healthy weight and maintain it for the rest of my life. So it's not I'm going to lose X number of pounds. I will achieve a healthy weight and maintain it for the rest of my life. And so what happens is when that's the goal, you change from focusing on, okay, I'm going to cut back this food, as you mentioned, I'm going to cut out that food, or I'm going to do that, which, by the way, cutting out the foods is more of a female thing because females are taught you starve yourself. Guys, we aren't cutting out too much. You know what I mean? We're cutting out anything. They might cut out the beer or something, you know? But so you switch the focus from, okay, I'm going to cut out this food to what are my habits? How do I develop healthy habits? And habits don't take 30 days like we've been taught. They can really change your habit in a short period of time. But when you change the focus to my healthy habits that have to last a lifetime, then you're more able to reach the ultimate goal, which is lifelong health. That's the real goal, not just losing X number of pounds for a short period of time. So, and then, you know, I mentioned, so that was the first thing in the book. We talk about your power. So it's setting the proper goals. It's having great teammates. I call it gather great teammates. If you're going to be successful in anything in life, you have to have a team of people around you. You know, there's a principle that 2 are better than 1. You absolutely need people around you if you're going to be successful. And then from there, we move on to your plan. Now, your plan, each of us is different. And so I can remember there was a time I was on a weight loss program, on a diet, and it recommended that I eat 8 times a day. All right, that's a lot. That was a lot. Now, I was traveling around the metropolitan area. I was doing computer network and consulting, and I had my own company. And I can remember packing these chicken breasts. All right, so I'd pack the chicken breasts in the car, and I'd pack them in the Tupperware and put them in the back seat of the car. And I'm driving across the metropolitan area. And I can remember I'd get to certain locations and I hadn't eaten in 3 hours. I'm like, oh my goodness, I gotta focus on what I need to eat. I'd run into the client right quick. I'm thinking, okay, I gotta run in here and then I'll be right back out. When I come out, the chicken breast had this little green fuzz on it. And I'm like, oh, what do I do? What do I do? I can microwave the fuzz off, you know? And so the point is that was a diet program that just does not work for the average person. But here I was trying this program. You know what I mean? And so that led me to develop what I call my #1 rule of nutrition. #1 rule of nutrition is never, ever, 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 ever start a diet or nutrition program that you can't maintain for the rest of your life. Never start it. And so that means if you're going to say, I'm going to have these, I'm going to drink these shakes, or I'm going to do this. Oh, that's neat. But what's going to happen once you're done drinking the shakes? If you go back to your normal eating, then you're going to go back to your normal bad habits. And so we need to develop some new habits. And that's where I came up with a different way of eating that I call it's really simplistic. It doesn't deprive you, but it allows you to develop habits, again, that last your lifetime. And so you'll see that we've got a few different things here.
Okay, so the strawberries,
yes.
What is the benefits?
Well, we're going to hold off on that.
Hold on that
because I want to show you how
okay.
my typical pattern of eating was.
Yes.
Okay, so my typical pattern of eating was I would eat, for instance, I would go to KFC and I would have, like, you know, 2 pieces of fried chicken and a big old thing of potato salad.
Okay.
All right.
Yes.
So this was it: fried chicken, potato salad. That's what I'd have for lunch. I might have that, or I'd have 3 pieces of chicken and a biscuit. So I'd have a lot. Now, how do I eat afterwards? Well, afterwards, I'm having 2 pieces of baked chicken and green beans. So here's the thing. You can still see I'm still getting a lot of food.
Yes.
But by making what I call simple modifications. Modification, not starvation. Making modifications, now I'm eating much better. Before, I used to drink regular pop. Now I switched to diet pop. Now we know that water is the absolute best.
Absolutely.
However, sometimes people have to wean down to get to the best. And so you go from regular pop to a diet tea, and then you get to water. You know what I mean? So you make those kinds of substitutions. Now, the old way that I used to eat, and some people still do it now. For breakfast, if you have any kind of breakfast bar, I'll have an apple or strawberry breakfast bar, all right?
Okay.
Sounds nice, sounds healthy, but it's really not that healthy. It's just a bunch of sugar. So
Yes.
here, the best thing you can do, and obviously this is snack foods. We got some gummy bears in here, and we've got some orange slices, all right? The best thing, the best modification you can have is real fruit, real apple. The best snack food on the planet.
Yes.
Real apples.
You see this viewer, this apple
Absolutely.
has a lot of benefits.
Absolutely.
And it's not the cliche that people always think an apple a day keeps the doctor away.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to save your life.
It is.
So.
It is. And so here we have, instead of the apple nutrition bars, real apples.
Okay.
Instead of strawberry nutrition bars, real strawberries. Instead of these types of snacks, you have real fruit. Now this provides a couple of different benefits. 1, you're not starving yourself. 2, here's the big thing.
Okay.
This is cheaper.
Yes,
And so we're often told that, you know, it's more expensive to eat healthy, but a box of these runs about $2.49.
Yes.
But a whole box is only 10 ounces. This might be $1.49 a pound.
You can buy a bag of apples as well.
Exactly right. So you can buy a bag of apples for the same price that you would buy for 10 ounces of that. And so that's the big difference also, because you want to get the sugar spike and all those other issues. This is just a better way of eating. But if you notice one thing, the magic in this is you still have a lot of food without going hungry.
Yes.
And as I like to say, I'm 6'5". You're not going to convince me to eat buckwheat and eat grass seed and all that kind of stuff. I have to eat real food.
You can fuel your body.
Exactly right.
With good food.
Exactly right.
You just don't have to overdo it.
You don't.
Everything
right.
in modification.
Absolutely. Well, you know what? One of the things, I even struggle with people say everything in moderation, because
Right, moderation.
my moderation is different than yours. My moderation used to be, I'd eat a half gallon of ice cream. That was my moderation, a half gallon. Now that might not be somebody else's,
Yes.
but that was mine. So instead of just thinking moderation, let's think, let me make substitution. Let me substitute the fried chicken for the baked chicken. Let me substitute the potato salad for the green beans, right? Does that make sense?
It makes a lot of sense.
Yep.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And we're actually going to go into another portion of our program.
Excellent.
I just want to get the viewers, you know, help them understand
Yeah.
the benefits of eating nutritional value, still fueling your body with good food. So we're going to come back in a few seconds, and we're going to come back and do a fitness segment, just so we can do basic exercises so that you can know the proper forms of working out. So we'll be back in a few minutes. Thank you. Hi, welcome back to our StayFit TV segment. We have in the house with us Pete Thomas, NBC's most successful, biggest loser. I'm so excited that he's here. Earlier we talked about eating healthy and staying fit. Right now, I know we talked a little bit about some principles in his book. He talked about mind, purpose, and there's going to be some other things that he's going to touch base on in his book, Lose It fast and lose it forever. So Pete, give us a little bit more information about the other principles that you have in your book.
Absolutely. You know, we touched on a couple different things. We talked about your purpose and your plan. And really, I divided up, I simplified it in that there are 3 areas you have to really work on if you're going to be successful when it comes to weight loss. You have to deal with the mind, the mouth, and then muscle. All right, so those 3 areas. And so at my largest, I was over 416 pounds, and we've got the picture here that shows you that. So at 416, you know, I call that big sexy, all right? Because
Okay.
it took a lot of work to maintain that big sexy figure.
Yes.
And what I've learned is this: you can burn off a lot of calories in the gym, a whole lot. But if you're going to keep it off long term, you really have to understand how to eat in the kitchen. But those things go together. What you do in the gym has to be complemented or supplemented by what happens in the kitchen. And so we talked a little bit earlier about, you know, how to eat right, how to eat without going hungry. I call it modification, not starvation. And now we need to deal with a little bit with some exercise.
Okay.
You know, I say there are a couple things when it comes to exercise. There are people who are in the gym and people who do different things, and really they're not exercising, it's just a matter of activity.
Okay.
So for instance, you think about someone, if you see them in the gym, typically it's the skinny lady, she's in the gym and she's reading a magazine while she's on the treadmill, all right? I call that activity. She looks like she's burning off the 5 grapes that she had for lunch, all right?
Grapes.
Yeah, so if you're not a beginner, a walking program is probably gonna not be as beneficial as a learning to run or beginner's running program. So in certain things you do, you just have to pick it up. And so we're gonna talk about that. But I've just learned, for instance, yoga, great activity, but it's an activity, it's not a workout. Okay?
Not that cardio.
It's
You have
not
to
that cardio, you gotta get the heart rate
cardio
up. And so
going.
even when you're doing resistance training, you wanna make sure that you get the heart rate up as high as possible, because we've got to burn off some calories. We want to really invigorate the cardiovascular system. If you're doing anything having to do with resistance training, we want to do a variety of different things to stimulate the muscle growth and all that kind of stuff. So I have 3 things that I like to do, 3 principles, all right? When I work out, I want to work these things out in order. First off is above the waist,
Okay,
all right?
above the waist.
A stands for above the waist. And then there's the B, which is below or at the waist.
Below or at the waist.
Below or at the waist.
Okay.
And then C stands for cardio. So I call it the ABC. And you can do this at home, you can do it at the gym, you can do it anywhere, but I practice the ABCs, I talk about it in the book. So we're gonna start off with an A exercise. So an A exercise above the waist, we're gonna do a push-up. All right?
Okay.
So the push-up we'll come down here, and we can either do it a modification from the knees, or because you're a superwoman, you're gonna do a regular push-up. All right?
Let me just move this cord here,
Yep.
and we'll get started. Okay, here we
So
go.
regular push-up or push-up from the knees, and we'll just go down and up. Now, typically when I do this, I'm going to do every exercise for 1 minute. All right?
Okay.
So, but we aren't going to spend that much time down here, because
Okay.
then we'll get all sweaty, and then we won't look really cool like we should always look. All right?
Okay.
So 1 minute right there. That's an A exercise. Then you come up, and then from there, the B exercise, below the waist. So we're going to work the quadriceps by
Okay.
doing squats. All right?
Okay.
Nice and deep. Get nice and deep on those squats, and then come up. Nice and deep. Good.
Squeeze, huh?
Yes.
Squeeze those glutes.
And we want to do it quickly. So
Okay.
here's the thing. We do it fast. We get the heart rate up while we're doing it. So we did an A for above the waist.
Okay.
This is B for below the waist. And next is C, which stands for cardio. So right after that, now, I'll do jumping jacks. What do you think you do?
I'll do some mountain climbers.
Mountain climbers. So there we go. So A, B, C, and we'll start it off. You go down, and I'll do jumping jacks. So go ahead.
Do it this way?
You can do it that way, either way.
Oh, okay.
Yep, absolutely. That works.
Okay.
So I'm doing jumping jacks while you're doing mountain climbing. Good. And so the key here, again, is doing it for 1 minute. Fast you can, all right? Good. Let's count that. You're jamming. Go, Lisa. Go. All right, good. That's good. Good job. Good job. Now,
Okay.
we've done that. We did 1 minute of push-ups, 1 minute of squats,
Okay.
1 minute of the cardio, all right, ABC. Then you go back to the top.
Okay.
So it really can be a 10-minute workout that you can do anywhere. So we go right back to the top. Let's do it one more time.
Okay.
Since we've got a couple of minutes here.
Yep.
I'll go back to push-ups, push-up here. Good.
Okay.
Do that here. Then pop up right after that. Come back to squat. Good. And so again, we don't want to think repetition. We
Yeah.
want to think time.
Okay.
All right? Doing it for 1 minute at a time. And then let's do mountain climbers right quick.
Okay.
One more time. You do mountain climber. I'll do jumping jack. Good. Excellent. Good. Excellent. Time. Good job.
Okay.
Now, again, if you go through that 3 times, you've done 10 minutes of work. And that 10 minutes of work, it's going to get your heart rate up. Okay. While you're doing the cardiovascular.
Yeah, I can feel it.
Yeah, while you're doing the cardiovascular, that's really getting your heart rate up.
Yes.
When you're doing the push-ups, you're giving your heart or your cardiovascular system a rest, but you're working the chest muscles and building those. Okay. Then once you give the chest muscles a rest, you're going down and you're working the quadricep muscles and giving the chest and the cardiovascular rest. And then, so you just, the thing that I loved about this is I really was introduced to it on the Biggest Loser Ranch. Okay. And when I first learned it, it was amazing because it was a time thing to where I realized, wow, I can get a hard, intense workout very quickly in a little period of time. Absolutely. By doing this circuit resistance training. And so it was just amazing. The other piece of it was I realized I could do it anywhere that I went. If I was on the road, traveling on the road, if I was at home at my home gym, I could do it just about anywhere. No equipment necessary. Yes. And so now the neat thing that I get a chance to do is, and I go around to different companies and different corporations, we get to teach advanced exercises, or I can teach some of the basics. And the basics, this ABC method, anybody can do this. So I find that, and then of course we showed a couple of different modifications as well. When we were doing the push-ups, I did it from my knees, while you did it straight push-up. So any ability level can do this type of stuff. The same way with the mountain climbers. You did mountain climbers, I did jumping jacks. Yes. You know what I mean? You can do that anywhere as well, and anybody can do it.
Did you have any tips for runners? Like, I am a runner. Yeah. Like distance runner. Okay. Do you have any tips like to strengthen your quads and for runners? You know, what I like to do, and one of the things because I deal with runners, is the cross training is absolutely essential. Okay. All right, it's absolutely essential. And so the key is, how do you get this cross training in? Well, there are certain running workouts that are just designed for runners. For instance, one of the things that you can do is you can run what's called a fartlek. So a fartlek is where you pick it up. It's a little bit above your aerobic pace. You know what I mean? Or they do what they call 400. So you can do a 400, which is a lap around a track, those types of things. You can also, one of the great things that I like to do is running hills. So this morning, before I came here, we went to the local high school and we ran up and down the stairs, the stadium stairs, and then we went on the track for a lap, ran up and down the stairs and track for the lap. All right, so that's going to build some different, well, when you run, let me say it this way, when you run, there are 3 different energy systems that you can work. There's an aerobic energy system, and then the anaerobic, and then your VO2 max. So mixing those things up will strengthen the cardiovascular system. Okay. Now, to strengthen your core, to strengthen your back and all those things, you need to do some resistance training. You need to do some stuff in the boot camp, because that's just going to add to your strength overall. I remember last year I did this thing called the Ragnar Relay. And so it's a 200-mile relay race. Wow. And so we flew into Chattanooga, Tennessee, and we ran over to Nashville. And so it just sounds crazy, and it is. You know, it is. Yes. And so the interesting thing is I could remember that one of my legs, I had a 6-mile leg, and I'm running in the middle of the night through like Jasper, Tennessee, and it's pitch black. The only thing I hear are like wolves howling way out in the distance, and I'm thinking to myself, am I going to be eaten out here? Because there's nobody else around except for a couple other runners. Well, the thing that allowed me to get through that 200-mile relay race was the strength training that I had started doing about a month and a half before in preparation. Okay. So anytime you do any exercise, you need to do some type of cross training. You have to do some resistance training to go along with the cardio. You need to do some cardiovascular to go along with the resistance training. And especially for runners, you know, you have to strengthen your core. You need to strengthen your back. And unfortunately, the only thing that prepares a runner for long miles is actually putting in the long miles. You have to do it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yep.
Okay. Are there any other tips you want to share with our viewers as far as how to, like, say for instance, they don't have a gym membership and they can get exercise, you know, outside of the gym? Yeah. What would you suggest? I know you suggest, like, I go to the high school track a lot. Absolutely. I run on the track. Yeah. But are there any other methods that they can do? Of course, we're right down here in beautiful Wyandotte, and this is my first time coming down here. You've got a beautiful waterfront. It is beautiful. It is beautiful. So literally, you can run across or along the waterfront. And every so often there are benches that people, you know, sit on or whatever. And so what you can do is you can simply set in your mind, okay, I'm going to jog a half mile. Then when I get to that bench, I'm going to do push-ups off the bench. Or I'm going to do squats right over the bench. And then you can repeat that every so often. You set in your mind, even if you're absolutely beginning and have not run before, you can set in your mind, okay, I'm going to run to that point,
and then I may walk to the next point, and then next time I'm going to run a little bit further, and then walk. And so it's a progression, but if you can get better and better and better, the more you practice this thing, and squeeze push-ups in, squeeze, you can sit down, lay down on the grass and do sit-ups, and all of those types of things can be done right here on the waterfront.
Real quick, any events coming up that you're going to be doing, any boot camps or anything?
Always. I'm always going. I think I'm down at Detroit Edison or DTE next week, but you can find out more information about that by going to the website, PeteThomas.com, or simply Google Pete Thomas, and I'm at the top of the list.
Thank you so much, Pete, for coming on our show.
Thank you.
And as always, I just want to thank all the viewers for viewing our show. You're going to get so much information from us on how to eat healthy, how to do exercise in the correct form. And I really am excited that Pete did come on the show today because he's a really busy person. He's passionate about fitness. And I am just so overwhelmed that you did accept the invitation to come on the show. So until next time, I want everyone to stay fit for life and stay healthy. Take care.